Anxiety is a pattern, like any other pattern. If you understand it well, you can change it, alter it, and if possible, break it with the help of correct tools. As per WHO report, more than 284 million people reported to have anxiety just in the year 2021. Can you imagine it? And if anxiety is such a big problem, are you equipped to deal with it? Most people look functional. They ignore all their emotions and at best, they push them under the carpet and go about their life. But these emotions, they come back. And this is where anxiety is becoming a bigger concern than what we can imagine it to be. In today's short Friday episode, let's talk about this concern and ways in which we can solve the problem. My name is Aditi Surana. I am a graphologist, a high performance coach, and an anti-anxiety expert. And on our podcast, Absolutely Right, every Friday we speak about one small concern that you can look at and change and alter by using some effective mental tools. Today's conversation about anxiety is crucial because anxiety is a pattern. Like any other pattern, if you understand it well, you can change it, alter it, and if possible, break it with the help of correct tools. And that is the reason why I rely on the correct usage of tools and figuring out hacking the system with the best possible resources. So let's talk about anxiety. It's a mental as well as physical experience. Obviously, it's mental and emotional because we get triggered by things and we have these emotional traps that we cannot get out of, and there are things that we keep thinking about and we absolutely cannot stop thinking because it becomes an overthinking, insomnia kind of a loop. Now, if that is true, the physical experience is also equally true. When your mind is busy believing in all these things, your body starts preparing for fight or flight mode. So you have things like sweaty palms, you have palpitations, you absolutely feel that restlessness in your body. You cannot sit in one place without feeling that hypertension everywhere. Right? Now, if you understand the correlation between body and mind, this is where we can use the tool to hack the system. If they're so closely associated, which means we can use the same association, the same relation to alter the way we look at the problem. How? Let's talk about it now. If I have to tell you just one thing that can alter the way you look at anxiety, then I would tell you this one principle. Lead with your mind when your body is helpless, but lead with your body when your mind is useless. Now, so many times in an anxious moment, your mind is going all over the place thinking of all the possible worst case scenarios. And you don't want to engage with it, but you don't know how. And this is where you feel helpless. But if your mind is going all over and being dramatic, can we use our bodies to ground ourselves? And this is where I want you to think of a memory, a situation, or your biggest anxiety trigger right now so that we can run an effective, powerful, magical 3-step Grapho-Journaling method on this particular anxiety memory so that we can learn how to change it right away. Now, in this moment, I want you to think about one situation, one trigger, one anxiety memory that absolutely makes you feel paralyzed. And this is where I want to teach you some grounding techniques or the physical technique that can help you deal with your mental balance at this moment. Let's talk about it. We're going to use a 3-step Grapho-Journaling process which begins with a question, then leads to CALMSUTRA S-stroke practice, and then we start doing the physical handwritten journaling. That's the process. Now, the question for the day is, what is my physical experience when I think of this anxiety trigger or anxious memory? Now, think of that memory right now and observe, though you have that emotional pattern where you felt somebody wronged you, things were not okay, you felt trapped, you also at this moment have a physical experience. Some people hold the tension in their neck, some people hold them in their upper back, some people do it in their lower back or in their entire body or in their gut. Depending on who you are, what kind of personality you have, we have different patterns to hold our stress in our body. Now, if you have built that awareness in your body, then wait and get to your CALMSUTRA S-stroke practice. Take out a ballpoint pen and do the stroke the way I have taught you to. If you haven't learned it yet, then check out the explanation link in the bio or in the description box. You'll find the link everywhere possible. Now move to step 3, where you're going to set a timer for 15 minutes and use handwritten journaling. But before you start writing, repeat the question. What is my physical experience when I think of this anxiety trigger or anxious memory? Now, take a moment and think of your sensation in your body one more time. Now, there are three possibilities. First, the intensity of your physical experience is as it was before you started the S-stroke practice. Second, it has increased and become more intense. And third, it has reduced considerably. Most people experience the third outcome. But if you're not one of them, then let's move to the second grounding technique, which is very famous, very popular, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What does it mean? Now you're going to use all 5 senses and get your awareness on each sense at a time. 5, think of 5 things that you can see around you and write them down. 4, think of 4 things that your body is in contact with, like texture of the cloth, the sofa that you're sitting on, whichever 5 textures that you can touch. 3, think of 3 things that you can hear right now. 2, think of 2 things that you can smell in the moment. And 1, think of 1 lingering taste that you have in your mouth. When you do this technique called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique, it helps your body to be in touch with your present moment. And this is where you can trick your body, train your body to really deal with anxiety at any given point in time. If this journaling technique works for you, then make sure you give it some time. Just let your body and your mind sink in. So give it 7 days at least and try the journaling in S-stroke over and over again until your physical experience changes about the same anxiety or some other anxiety issues. But don't be too scattered. Take one thing at a time and keep repeating the practice until you clean it, if you work on it completely. If you have a friend or a family member who's going through anxiety, and if they are not aware of this simple, powerful technique, then make sure that you share this conversation with them so that they can get benefited by using their body to resolve what is happening in their mind. How interesting is that? As you're new to this CALMSUTRA S-stroke practice, if you want us to correct it and give you feedback, make sure that you tag our Instagram handle at Aditi Surana, and my team will give you feedback on exactly where you're going wrong. Lastly, if you want to learn graphology with me or have me coach you, then you can reach out by going on the website aditisurana.com. I'll see you on Wednesday with one more episode of the Absolutely Right podcast. Till then, happy writing.